Well, this one will be a fascinating one. Terry Godwin was the best guy that I saw play last year, and I saw a lot of guys, including Lorenzo Carter and Mitch Hyatt. He goes up and snatches the ball. He makes plays, plays offense, he plays defense. And I saw Trent Thompson. Trent Thompson's pretty good, though. Trent Thompson's pretty good, and Mitch Hyatt's pretty good, and Lorenzo Carter. But the game I saw, that narrow piece of information, Terry Godwin was tough to deal with.
He lights out. I mean, he was right here, 2 summers ago. Georgia became the first school to offer him coming off his freshman
Intelligently.
year. I mean, they look smart now, very much so. I mean, arguably, he's the best player in the state, from top to bottom, on the field, off the field. You're talking about grades.
Best football player?
Maybe
I think you could make that argument.
Student athlete, just pure in the state. I mean, the kid has it together. He has 2 great parents that help him every day in life. But yeah,
very settled kid, it seemed like, when I dealt with him.
He is, man. He's humble. He works hard. He wants to be great, wants to be the best. He puts in the time in the weight room, takes care of his classwork. I mean, on the field, he's fun to watch. I mean, it's never really a boring. He's either picking off a pass, making a great open field tackle, returning a punt for a touchdown, scoring on a long touchdown pass. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see where he plays, offense or defense or both in college.
Well, I think you could play both, but I think he's primarily a defensive guy.
I think long term, you see a lot more 5'11 and a half, 6 foot receivers that are just good players, but 6 foot corners are great, can be great.
But he's pretty explosive in the return game.
No matter where he plays, he'll do that. You know, I definitely think it's smart for any school, whether you're Alabama, Auburn, Georgia, that recruits him, you tell him both ways because he likes the idea and he may be good enough. He may be able to handle that workload. Obviously, you want to have a guy that comes in and plays for 1 year, gets his feet wet in college, handles the workload, but then over that next spring maybe transitions into being – offense and defense together.
When I watched them play Herd, which is where Jake Edwards played when they played one another. Physically already developed. I mean, he looks like a guy that plays in the SEC now.
He can probably handle it. Mentally, I think he's on that level.
So he's a guy that comes in and plays no matter where he goes.
I think so.
So see, now I'm jabbing these people with the knife.
For sure.
I
still think he goes to Georgia. I think that's what people want to hear is where he's at.
Right.
I mean, I feel confident in saying that he's still Georgia. I mean, obviously, nothing, as we've said many times, is official until
We're not dumb. We've been around the ball game a little bit.
The papers, but I feel from what I hear and what I get from people I trust close to him that him and Rick have a great relationship. John Lilly talks with him. Yeah. Jeremy Pruitt, Mike Bobo. The guy loves Georgia. He is going to visit Alabama and Auburn probably all the way through until he can't anymore. But I still think, end of the day, right now, all signs point to Georgia.
I think the reality is he lives drastically closer to Auburn than he does anywhere else. Alabama is probably a little bit further away than Georgia is, but not by a lot. And I think if you are as high level as he is, you got to look at everything and see what, unless you think, now, like, say, for instance, Mitch Hyatt, he just is Clemson, and that's really been it. I'm not aware that he's going to Ohio State. He could. I don't think so. But anyway, you get my point. He's been very firm. I think in this case, you need to make certain that what you're doing is the right thing. How does Pruitt being here affect this? I'll say this. It seemed like Georgia led before he got here.
Yeah, I don't think it was not really anything to do with Pruitt. It hasn't hurt or helped Georgia. I mean, if anything, maybe helped a little with him being national championship player last year, on the team last year, and coaching under Alabama and Nick Saban and Kirby Smart years prior to that. So, if anything, it only helped. I mean, it wasn't anything to do with him having a great bond with Lakatos that hurt Georgia when Lakatos was let go, late last year. So, again, Godwin is committed, in my opinion, to Mark Richt and the University of Georgia.
And that's going to be tough.
And his parents loved Richt and Georgia as well.
That's the problem. That's the hard part about breaking guys from their commitments when they really latch on to the head coach. It doesn't seem to me, we have these theoretical and philosophical discussions all the time. When will a coach leave? It doesn't feel to me like Mark is anywhere close to leaving Georgia. Not now. Now, a couple of years ago, maybe, but not right now.
You know it more than I would. I mean, you're here on the beat every day.
It doesn't feel like it, but that's another story for another day. Terry Godwin. Anything else?
I like him at Georgia.
Okay.
That's it.